Okay, I'm running this 15-minute script here for the next, well, the whole morning, I suppose. So as the market's plunging here, I hit the button twice, but I waited about maybe for the market to pull back like 5 pips. No, not 5 pips, like about 1 pip. So I'm in. Now, the balls won't delete, unfortunately. Just the orders are going to go away. The balls will be left behind with the red stops and the blue take profits. I guess I don't have the best. You can't see the take profits that are where the balls are. If you go to candlestick mode, though, it'll take the balls down to arrows. So I only marked off the entries. So there is no. You can turn on the exits. The reds can be on a different colored line horizontally. But I'm only worried about where I'm getting in, actually. This is like a retracement system on a 15-minute time frame. So the market has to plunge here pretty hard. But obviously, it's the same story over and over again. We come back to support, everybody bails here, and some people have bails right at the retest. Now the question is, can they come down here, pick up my buy limits, and pick me up for a ride to here? Easy money. So where's all the easy money? This top, this is where all the stops and the robots are stacking up. The news comes out, we have to go look for some liquidity. Boom. Half hour. Now let's go full auction where we trap the bears. Now let's go trap the bulls to the double. Back down in. So you're either shorting off of this ricochet point, obvious double top, means is there a possibility there could be a third top? Yeah, and if you go on the euro, there's a quad bottom right now on the half hour euro. So sure, there is a lot of retests. That's what gives you these double tops and double bottoms. Of course, the sloping double top. This is the perfect rollover this morning. This is only a one-day pattern. So this constitutes a, a lot of body. Hardly any wick. And here's the triangle indecision. More doginess. Lower volatility. Kablamo. Or was it going to be kablamo. So you could have taken a high risk entry and hedged it with a stop entry possibly. Of course, then your ratios are only... but if you know that, it's better just to... Maybe you got a trailing bot that's going to tighten up your stop for that ride. Boom, it's over. But it's kind of a chunky market in the end. It's very choppy. It could come down now. And wait another... so if the market doesn't move... In other words, if every 15 minutes, you have to pick a time frame. So right now I've got... I think like 10K sitting out here that could get filled. And the longer it goes on without getting filled, typically, if I start getting higher highs on the lower highs on the 5 minute, I would just put a buy stop in. So now I've got 4 buy stops I could have put in, so I'm going to put in 1. Just to get picked up if this rides over. Now, on this stuff, the crossover is really quick. You got to be on your toes here a little bit. Here's the infamous unsustainable downtrend. Breaks out, finds support. First time you can draw a trend line going the other way is off of this low. See how hard it is to draw on candlesticks? This is the real structure. Candlesticks would make you think it's like this off the lows. But the core of the market, the moving average, this double top here, it's also breaking. So you got 2 breaks. Then it pulls back into that because, and of course, it's the classic trap down here. But we could come slamming back to this. Now, you could hand place an order there. Or if you'd have enough money in your account and you just want to trade like a complete goof, you just throw orders in like this. You're like, oh, I so want it when it comes back here. Now this, ideally, is going to come in at different prices. Now, if you waited 15 minutes, these will start deleting. So you're always stepping in front of the market by 5. I don't know what this is set to. So if you look under the hood and see how you want to build this to run it, and you may not get filled. I mean, you know, the thing with a pending order is that you're not getting in the market. So if I set this to get in every 5 pips, you have to set this to 50, even though even though you want 5. I guess people could call it whatever you want. So every 5 pips, I'm going to get in, and then they'll get into a 4K at least here, I think. And then set the stop here. Leave the stops tight. It's a progressive stop, so every order has its own ratio. And hit the compile button. Now we're going to buy the ask and sell the bid. This should be set to bid on the exits. Just trying to make it crash proof. I guess you're on your own when you do this stuff. If it locks up, you know, that's why you can't have just one broker. Okay, the market's dropping, so we want to put another buy limit in. So one of the best prices are below us. It's a buy low, sell high game, so as it's pulling back, this is where we're getting in on the 15-minute grids. Here's the infamous euro dollar. Gonna buy a pullback in this. They're punching this thing down. Then go back to the. Okay, so no fills here. Oh, we got one fill. But that's the buy stop, I think. Yeah, see, they tagged me on that buy stop. So I'll put another buy stop in. It's 1 pip above. So unfortunately, I'm going to overpay for that. That's why it's a lousy way to get in. It's just plain lousy. And this top, so as this is trailing down, if you're deleting the very top order there, if you got the terminal window up like this, and you align this by price, you'd be plucking this top one off. If the market kept dropping, as it's coming down into these buy limits, because this is the higher probability trade that it's better to buy cheaper in the next 10 minutes than it is to pay for a, if it has come all the way back to here, it's better to see if they can get it to this double top here. See, this is the, from this point to this point is your horizontal, so it's really doji to doji, right? Pivot to pivot. And here's the doji gives you that. That's what a doji looks like. If you're trying to convert your brain over to a line chart. But you can see the nice, there's actually 2 dojis right there. So it's a double doji. So we definitely want to be buying here. And the first scalp would probably be to, well, here I guess. There's no other this is a 5-minute chart. So this stuff's okay, we're going up. So I gotta get out of stops here. Gotta jump out, throw some stops and go with the flow here. So I have no buy stop showing. So I'm gonna put one in. And they'll let that, if it comes crashing back, that it would be great fill. Then there's the next script would be a half hour. So this is a 15-minute, I know it says 30 here, but it's actually set to 15 inside the. This is set to 15 minutes here. So that's the kind of like the low time exposure mode of trading, where you just let the market come to you. Set the if you're let the market prove you right theory of living. Here's another perfect market behavior. This double bottom, 10 pips below the 25, becomes the selling point. Here is the trap, the bull trap window. Everybody's all excited. They're like, pull it back. Here's the first time you can draw a trend line. So we break that velocity. But look at this quadruple bottom in a 10 pip window. That's pretty cheap. We could come down here today and then come to here, so all these trades are possible. The way this thing goes down through these orders and retraces, and they're going to keep, you have to keep on, the problem is you got to keep on hitting manually the drop these orders. Unless you hire some crackhead to do it for you. You can sit there and hit that thing every 15 minutes. But that's why you'd want to trade, say, 3 pips deep and just trade baby waves. Like baby steps. Baby waves. There's this nice slam down. Okay, so here's where you put the buy limits in. 15-minute. Here's the half hour. Here's the 1 hour. So this should be a nice psycho fill. Oh yeah. This is what it's about. Come on, look at this. Look at these people. Look at them sell hard off that. Oh. Come on. So this is 1 hour. I'm giving it 1 hour to drop another 35 pips. Oh. I hope they take it right to the beyond here. So as long as you got enough money in your account, it's a great trade. Look at them smash that. Look at the 5-minute. Look at them off this 25-yard line. They just love that. Vicious. Absolutely vicious. So I'll put another 15-minute grid in there. This is the half hour. And then that's the 1 hour. I put everything 5 pips apart. Okay, looks like we're going up on the Australian. They pulled it back again into this top. So I'm going to put buy stops on this. More buy limits. Of course, these are kind of deep. I never got filled on that. I'm still along that one crappy entryway up here on the. Okay, they could smash it back now. I could see it coming. Another 20 pips, easy. This is the ideal entry right here. Okay, I'll put a buy stop in there. If they've trapped these guys below this, when it comes to here, people are going to get out. And if the sellers don't come in here, then it's going to be a trap. And it's just going to blow. It's going to break this trend line here as the next step. Obviously. Duh. Stupid. Okay, let's put buy stops in like crazy here for the scalp. So I'm going to put 2 orders in there. So these blues are my exit. I guess I don't have the best background for this. Doesn't look that great. You can't see the red and blue on there. Yes. I don't know. Make it darker. Okay. There you go. So, right here, this 10-minute window here, top about the hour, big turning points. Classic. You don't need a horoscope for this stuff. So there'll be a scalp in here, and then it's going to go maybe plunge lower. Prepare for anything, I suppose. It's, you know, this is really, now look at just zooming out just one little bit here in the 5-minute. See all you need to know. The drama of this market. Look at this thing. Just look at this thing. Leave here all the way to here and then give back 50%. At this point, the last thing you want to do is break out one of these fib tools, okay? Just put your low in here and you can see that this is where you should have got in, is on the last known shoulder. So if this is a head, we're going on the belief that it's going to go up today, I guess. I mean, this is the idea that this is the shoulder, this is the head, this is the shoulder. And if this doesn't work out, yeah, it's going to tumble down here. We have filled on these buy limits, but we'll just trade it from a up and down standpoint. The best entries are down here. The worst are to buy here. Second worst is to buy here, because just like if you thought, well, I'll buy up here, I mean, it's going up, and then you're just trapped, and they rape you. It's like Death Wish 6 in the back alley. Here's the perfect trend line broken. Just a perfect chance. I mean, it does. When the market goes perfect too long, just like when it goes sideways too long, too perfect, too sideways, way too perfect. But you know, it's on the 5-minute chart. It's like it's complete life there. You know, if this is a weekly chart, could you imagine? Well, Jed, he sold back here about 3 years ago. We're just getting out of that short trade. Holy God, we're going to go long now. God, these markets are just stupid. Oh, gee, it came back to here. Go figure. I wonder if it go up here. I wonder if it could go down there. All right, so here's the scenario. I wish it was cheaper. I don't think I bought enough here on this pullback. But I'm not going to buy any at the market. So I'm in $12 here. I'm $80 so far on this account this week. Just experimenting, willing to get stopped out, I guess. Spread's not too good here. It's almost 2 pips right now in this damn currency, but I guess it does have a real easy Euro's just tighter spread, that's all. So what's the Euro's doing here? So the Euro found a little bit of support here in this. So here was the entry. Is this on this guy here? Everybody's going to be buying that top. And the people that saw this top bottom on the 5-minute Euro, but you kind of got to be there for that, or because or you just had a cluster of buy limits sitting down here and you weren't trying to get in, say, on this pullback because of this. Like you were, hopefully you were in just because if you look back on the dailies, there's this window here of only like 7 pips. This is like a 7-pip window here where they went down and nicked that. So that was a high probability scalp thing. Okay, so it's finally going to have one last pullback here. It's only 5:30 in the morning. Plenty of time for more punishment here. Go down lower. Okay, so looking at the 1 hour. Yeah, let's go to the... yeah, so it could go down lower. Look at the 5-minute. And it looks like we got to start taking out stops here. So I'll put in the stops for people's protection, all the bears protection. We'll get in with them, the panic. So if it goes up, we go long, we don't want to buy at the top of this thing. I'll go for the same thing on the... Here's hasn't, these people haven't figured it out yet, so I'm going to stack up a bunch here. It looks like the euro's leading the assault on the dollar. Now we're just breaking this trend line here. So I'm going to buy stops on that. And then the plunge orders, we're going to drop those in case we're wrong. And then we're going to go hog long if there's a big down spike, stop hunt all those stops from all those robots. Robots are trading against each other. Just a very quick, fast market. Okay, another plunge coming in Australia probably here. Possibly. So you go here to the half hour. Since we just finished the bottom of the hour, let's take a look at that. What can you surmise on this? Well, this was the classic. Everybody loved that price. We could go below that again. Come after the people that have stops down here. The bulls. So here's a ripe area to buy. So I put in this, and that's a half hour. This is a 1 hour. So these 1 hour scripts are great for the news because the markets are pretty nuts, and they usually okay, looks like we're gonna go up. So I'm putting a buy stop in this thing. Yeah, this Australia's been itching to retrace that punishment. I mean, it's down about 200 pips from the middle of the month. It's looking for a payback, but I think I could still tank, so most of my stuff's on buy limits here. We'll put a bunch in now. So that's a do or die moment now. We're either going to break these two highs out on the half hour and crush to the top. Once we kick back here and backfilled, picked up enough stop outs, you know, all the people in robots got their stops up in here. We got to clean that out. And this is just the obvious scalp trade. Here's the pullback, but this could be one of the last pullbacks. It's pulling back to here right now. And that's the classic entry. Okay, so I'm getting filled on these buy stops. So I'm in quite a bit of margin here. So there's kind of a scramble here as you get near the opening. There's kind of a, uh-oh. The bears are getting scared. And then there's the last known double bottom became the double top here, last known, right on the 5 pip handle. So that's easy math. So my exits are right around here. I'm not going to try to make it to here because there'll probably be a kickback before it gets up there. Markets are kind of notorious for not going in a straight line. If you look at the tick chart, it looks really kind of jagged. Very, very noisy. Talk about noise, but yeah, I wanted a spread alarm. I was looking for a thing that would actually... Of course, these alarms, the problem is they keep going off and you don't hear them anymore. It's like living next to a train track. Okay, I'm expecting too much here. If we can make it back to the big fat black number here, then that'd be great. This is where the floor fell out, but I don't think today. Just get me back to the about 10 pips up, see? Shay? 10 pips. I'll take my 10 pips and go. But this could take forever. Of course, this time of day, stuff does happen quickly. There's that shift from one session, one country's closing, the other country's opening. So the interlude here has a certain noise factor. This may be tough if you're trying to, it's really trapped in this range here. Okay, this is a half hour, so we try to resolve this range debate. Another place to put a line in is in this double top here that's almost a triple, so it's kind of a compression. Let's say we got to get to that price. Got to go towards this for the and the sellers may come in there because this is a big problem. This double bottom became this top here. Also, if this is not what happens, smash her up. But you want to buy if it should slam below here, so you're really in a situation where if this does not complete this move, if this doesn't happen, you don't want to miss out on the fact that the buyers are going to come in here and you have this backup plan for the buy limits sitting behind you. So you may be running a stop entry key here and being just like a retail goof, going, it's going up, I'm just going to follow the herd. I'm going to be a sheeple, be a rich sheeple. You know, it's funny, they make fun of these people, they call them sheep. These people are the richest sheep in the world. They just went with this stupid program, right? They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so we're waiting for this to... We're always waiting for this thing to move. But, you know, for the scalpers, for the bears, their perspective, they're getting scared because they sold off of this and they're like, they want some follow through. And every time it stalls out and goes sideways, you got to figure who's the one that's going to be, who's the winningest guy that's going to have to think twice about his winnings. So a big move down. And they're like, woohoo, it's going to go through the floor, man. Like, you got to figure that if you sold here and you're like, oh, yeah, man. And then you're like, oh, really? They're not going to keep going. So this is obviously the contention point. And you could go below that today. Now, the best trades are going to be, you started buying from here down to where again? People, you're telling like a fish story. Yeah, because you're fishing deep. You're really going down deep sea fishing. Like, I'm sure people loaded up on plunges in these markets. It's really how you get in. So as it's plunging, maybe you don't get in, maybe you don't buy it at the market. But even if you bought every day, or you have a buy stop riding above every day, it plunges, and then you have buy limits below in front of it, depending how you size that, who's not making money? I think it's just the scale of it is disturbing to people. When something drops really big, they're like, well, now what? So, it like kind of messes up your orientation of what's normal. Okay. It's pulling back here still. Okay, plunge is coming. So I'm going to put buy limits in again. And big plunge coming now on the Australian to the dollar. Okay, so I'm gonna load up on the plunge. It looks like I'm a little early to the thing here, but I am anticipating a break out of this. But we could totally retest this. So we wait for the nonsense to die down here. Go back to these candles so you can see less. Here we go. So we want to buy on these arrows. That's a 15-minute, and I don't think I'll ever get filled in these half hours. But yeah, it's almost like these markets are nothing but test and retest game or something. There's no here the Euro's making more headway right now than the Australian. So Euro's got a hold in here, and if it plunges again, I'm continually buying 5 pips every 5 pips. I'm gonna buy that, and that's the 30-minute. There's no way. I mean, if they can fill this, it'd be a dream. So I do have these. Now here you could have sell stops, I suppose, on this. This ball could be a sell stop. But looking at the daily, yeah, we could definitely go down here to this big round number today and bounce up 25 pips. So that would be the trade. Market plunges all the way down here. This is 45 pips deep, the lowest order here. So it's a 1 hour order, but you'd have to keep putting that in. Thing is, looks like we're going up. So one more buy stop here, and I think I'll put a buy stop on the Australia too, because these things are pretty much about 1 beat away from each other. I'll put some scalps in there. So here's the arrow for the buy stop, and as it's coming down into these limits, it's ready to go for a scalp here. So I'm going to try to scalp this to the as it attempts to break out. So as it's going towards the finish line, I want to be getting out something, and then I'll put some. The problem with these, I got to rewrite that. I want it to be 1 pip above. So it's really just like a market order. This is actually 3 pips above. So that one's, and then how long do these last? Another question is, I might say 15 minutes, half hour on this market, 15 minutes, half hour, 1 hour. If you have 3 hotkeys, just get 4 keys, get a market order. You might want to buy at the market sale right now. But it's always going to be better to hit the buy limit key and put in an order that's down a little bit, like this, 15 minutes, because that's going to be a higher probability of win if it does fill. The probability of it filling is low, but if it fills, the money's high. So it's very inverted formula. It's like if it ever goes down there, who's not buying it? Well, You know, this is a 15 minutes. I mean, if this thing could do this, and it has done it, you can sit here in the morning and see this news come out and watch the market plunge down there and retrace. Boom, you're out. There's your money. So you can't make all your money like that because you're going to have to trade some of these lazy trends. But a lot of this spastic thing here, so I'm down like $10 here. Down $10 on this stuff. So here's my big market order. All right. It looks like we're done beating it up for a little bit. I think I'm smelling a rally coming. Has that look to it. So I'll put some scalps on this. And the euro looks like it's going to head the team out of the waters here. Going for the 10 pip run of the 25 here for the scalp. And then once they clip the top of this, I'm going to put buy limits beneath to get the capture the pullback spikes for the possible big run up. And then tomorrow there's more news and stuff, more thrills and spills. So there's plenty of trades for everybody's. If you like to sell, there's plenty of sells. If you like to buy, there's plenty of buys. But yeah, this is some kind of boring game. I mean, you just can't believe the amount of boredom. But in that course, the problem is if you can anticipate what's going on, you're going to get in too early and too big because you're like, who can't see this coming? And the thing you know is that it takes a long time for the market to capitulate or to exhaust itself. It's like a really obnoxious child. So, you know, hey, it's not going to turn on a dime. But this sideways stuff where it can't turn on a dime right away, and you can dial down and trade a 5 pip range and an 8 pip range instead of trying to trade a 20 pip range or a 40 pip range. You just make 15 pips with a 5 pip stop, or make 50, 100 pips with a 20 pip stop, whatever that is. But yeah, I like to just be out of the market with my money. I take the money out. Just give me 15 pips and about 3 minutes, I'm good. I don't need to sit around through all the up and down stuff. Okay, we have to come back to this in about, I guess, totally dead in the water here. So time to put another buy stop in. And that's a scalp, and this is the make a little bit more, and then this is the trend, the big move. You don't have a lot of big moves. Here there was a couple, so you could have done it there. You get a nice big move. Okay, here comes the rally. All right. So you go to the 1 minute chart. You can kind of see the top became a bottom right there. So that's your hope. That's the hope for the bulls there. And everybody's 1 minute chart. I got another 1 minute chart. It's like 10 seconds off, so looks completely different. So we gotta launch off this baby top. So for the trend line break is here. Broke and found support. Here you haven't broke out yet, so maybe going down this track now. So put in a buy limit. Keep putting the buy limits below this double bottom. So every time this closes down, I would put a buy stop here and go deeper and deeper with the buy limit. So that's the 15 minute. Here's the the half hour. Yeah. Okay, here's the 5 minute. All right. Looks like we finally trapped the bears here on this breakout, possibly. Or we are going to keep going down this perfect channel. Okay, tick chart's popping up here. So they can break out this 5 minute bar here. They'll try to make a run for the border. Go after this trend line out that's out here. First we got to break the 5 minute trend line. One thing at a time, people. Okay, here's the double top here, the resistance. So we got to crush that. And then let's see if the Euro's about to... okay, so we got a top becoming a bottom on the 5 minute Euro. So you kind of buy at the market here, buying a stop, or tighten your stop up to, I guess, this flat spot here. Tightening up stops is kind of tough. That's probably where you want to buy. And if you drew a line here because of this, each one of these, even down here, so if you put a line on every one of these zags and zigs, it's a lot of work, but definitely gives you the nice, here's a doji, so that became the support here, pivot. Okay, we just got to kick through that 5 minute bar, start to clean house, and on the daily, you're in fair value on the big picture. If you consider this top on the daily that corresponds to this whole pivot thing, you got to figure this is a big deal. And if this becomes resistance, then yeah, it's gonna launch off of that. But since at the last known dramatic structure is the 5 minute, where it comes back to here. Here now, for us to get down to here, you need something like fizzle out, break this, really go slamming through that, come back to here, and then never look back. In other words, it would come back into this floor, and then it would just keep tumbling, and just do that over and over. Again, that same pattern. Okay, another pullback. Coming in this Australian dollar. The screen here. Okay. I'm going to put some more buy stops in this. So this is tanking again. So it's not done tanking. So another buy stop here every time it makes a lower high. Let's try to lock into this. And then I'll run another buy low underneath here. So I'm at 46 now. I'm down $15. Loading into this. All the way back to this ultimate entry here. So they walk this down. Now here's where you'd take off the worst entry up here, the buy stop. Trim this back so you have no more buy, maybe one buy stop now. Because you want to catch the throttle off of that. You're already in at $46, down 13. You don't want to overload the account, because if it ever fills, you haven't have enough dry powder to fill all this stuff. So you just got filled at a limit. Or I might get filled on that. Buy stop. Okay, I get filled on buy stop. So this is about the, you get about $100 here. You got 10 grand in here. Okay, looks like I'll put another buy stop in. And another buy limit. Okay, I could leave the station now. Try to bust this. Otherwise, we're going down the tubes. That means that this is just going to keep tanking right to the floor today. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So they say. I guess we're just waiting for this top of the hour now. Okay, we should get some drama here. Top of the hour. And we get our next, another update on the 5 minutes. So these buy stops are good. I wouldn't add any. We could add maybe one here because you got a 1 5 minute lower. Not on this broker. Well, this one is a little bit lower. So yeah, I'm at 48 bucks here. That's about all I can do now. So I'm locked out. I can't add to this now because once it starts going up, I can't buy anymore. So that's how I do it. Because what if it tanks? I got to have enough money to trade this scheme of that they're going to plunge that, and that the real trade is going to be the mega stop hunt, retrace spikorama. This one last night here, this was a nice money maker. You throw scripts in on this crap here, I'm telling you, when that news comes out, it is like going to Vegas. You literally drop scripts in here on this stuff and you just crack up because you're like, I don't care what happens, man. I don't care who wins the fight. I don't care. Got buys, sells, it wouldn't have mattered. I guess it'd better have the buy limits though. Look at this 10 pip reaming here. Look at this stuff. Crack you up all day. And trend line break here. And look at this 10 pip window, just bam. And like 30 pips from a 10 pip risk on average. And that's like a 40 pip, almost 40 pips. Here we go, straight up now. A lot of buy stops now. So now I'm going to go into retail normal trading. Here's your double bottom. Okay, here's the ideal setup for a launching pad. Of course, it's an ideal tank job for the bears because they're looking at this, say, this channel here. And this is their view of the world. We're going to just keep walking down this channel. Can't you see we're in a downtrend? But here I would say you're at the definitely at the fork in the road here where this is where all the controversy is. This top here becomes this bottom. It's also a controversy here, and then people would love to buy down here. Okay, top of the hour. So decisions should be made about here. You can see some crazy moves right now. I'm going to add to this buy limit scheme here. 15 minutes. You got to keep pushing. You can push this every 5 minutes. Depends how much money you've got going in. Okay. There you go, top of the hour. It's either going to smash or it's going to rally. It's been going sideways too long. And we walked down the 5-minute stairway again. About to break the trend line. And if you're really drawing tight trend lines on here, you already broke this trend line, technically. Oh yeah, double top. Couldn't keep tanking. So that was the break. And now we're up against this doji here. On the 5-minute, this is a big deal. If we can break that. Dilly-dally in here. But this was definitely the entry. Didn't quite make it. Sometimes you never make your targets or your entries, so you have to build into them. So I guess you have to donate some of your account to crappy entries that are volatility entries, because as it quiets down here, and say your buy stops last 15 minutes, so you wait for them to delete themselves, put another one in. So force you wait 15 minutes to pull the trigger. If you want to have a limited exposure. Here you might wait every 5 minutes to pull the trigger. It's a 5-minute chart. This is the up fractal there, the last known. This is the bottom becomes a top, and now you could get a sell-off. It would make sense. Euro's about to bust out, though. And I suspect that in some regard the Australian dollar will follow, just because it's about the dollar, I suppose. The war is on or against the dollar. And so the top hour is come and gone, and news will be coming out in 2 hours, so this is where people, I think, are going to make a decision, try to unwind their positions before the news. So maybe there'll be some activity. But that's the thing. Typically, it's just like this all day long, so unless there's some drama, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to come back in a half hour, wait for my 15-minute orders to expire. I'm going to put one more 15-minute bank in here. And then just another thing is, if you save this screen, you can see all the times that you placed. And you see those ones just deleted themselves. So you have a constant running thing like this for this kind of situation. You know, this is something you're looking forward to, is it plunging. So it basically becomes this. You probably won't fill all these orders in a, you know, it's rare that you can, even if you, well, you can hand place the orders too, but even if you hand placed orders, say, to buy every from here to here, and some of those just, maybe the market doesn't even make it there, it just nicks this and goes up. Ideally, it plunges in here because it's a high probability that it's going to do this, where it just goes. Like, this is the floor. We come down and crush everybody. A lot of people bail here, but then there's the follow through. And that's the big trade. I think it's the biggest trade, is a reversal. The biggest amount of money in the shortest period of time. Not the biggest pip move, but it's the shortest, the dirtiest money. It's like a one-night stand. Instead of it being an investor and getting married to the market, it's just a hump and dump. Okay, this is the, so you just have to wait now. So come back here now, bottom of the hour, see what kind of antics have happened since. Down 15 bucks. So I finally got filled on these orders, and I put in a couple more. I deleted all the buy stops that were too far away from current price. So I tightened up all the and put more in here. I haven't got filled on some. Here we go. Now I'm at $64 a margin. So some of these are just scalps. Take profits are going to be about 5 pips here. Euros just broken out a little bit here. Now it's going to make a run for these. It's got to go up 5 pips here. And in the Australian dollar follows. Australian dollar's a little more volatility, so I actually broke out this thing. Now we're going to crush into here. It's also the place where sellers could come in a little bit, but I don't know how they're going to do once. If we go up 5 pips here, I guess it's going to might spook them. Here's a good shoulder forming, I suppose. So inverted head and shoulders is your head, shoulder, shoulder. Break this trend line. His first target's going to be there. Then when we have to pull back, maybe. Then tomorrow. Who knows? I think anybody that's long wants to just go to the moon straight without any pullbacks. I think that's the ideal situation. Okay, they trapped the bulls there. So to pay retail on that instead of wholesale. Wholesale prices were down here. Getting filled right at this. Problem is, the price never, your entry never made it down here because this is just a bid price. You had to have a, you had to pay at least probably here. So your best entry price-wise would have been right here. So you're finally up on the trade a little bit, maybe at this point. So we have to wait for another 15 minutes. We finally got the ultimate entry price down here. We just nicked this. Now the volatility just kicked up. After we walked down this channel, not really a channel, just a wedge. So here's where the possible profits could come in now. I'm at $88 a margin now. I'm up $2, ready to get out. Okay, let's try to make at least 30 bucks here. And then take a nap. Go back to business as usual. Sleeping, my new sport. Here's the euro. This is the 1 hour euro. Another stupid entry here. This is a 5 bottom. I'm going to count each one of these spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spikes. Amazing. Okay, we got to get this done quick here. The longer we go sideways, the worse it is. We got to start. We got to get to this 25. Get to here. And this has got to happen within about a half an hour. Or it's no good. Just got to get there. Boom. Start getting out of these take profits here. Get out. The first thing is to get out here at this resistance point. And then it would come back in with limits, real tight limits below. Look for one more retest. And then one more. Of course, this is always, this whole week, in the middle of this week in the euro has been this big chatter below the floor. So it's the same floor pretty much you see in the other currency, in the Australian. And here's the floor that's been, the sellers came in at this floor here a couple hours ago, about an hour ago. Okay, let's make a stampede here. Go for that. Scalp out. Get some more coffee. Maybe sell a little bit on limits up here. So the limit, if you're going to sell out here, I'm at limits. Haven't quite got this. I don't know exactly how these are going to come in. But here's my sell. Limit's 15. That's a 15. This is the 30. Pretty outlandish. I don't think we're going to come up there. Maybe on the guppy you could trade this script. Not all these scripts, you know, if you're trying to make 10 pips on the guppy, I don't think you have to wait that long. Or lose 10 pips. Okay, I'm only up 26 cents here, so. But yeah, that's it. Can't buy it anymore. Pretty much done buying. And I just have to let it go. And then we'll see how far I can take it through the top here. I'm finally winning on this trade. I'm up 14 bucks. Haven't cashed out anything yet. So we're just waiting for the northern gust of wind to take us north here for about 10 pips. And that would be pretty decent. I have some sell limits I peppered up there. Okay, we're coming after these stops that people have on, say, the 1 hour. If you go back just 1 hour here, the 1 hour pattern looks pretty strange. You really can't see the entry too well there. The half hour, you just took out the last half hour high, so you want to get in tight on the 15. Your buy stops are stacking up. Just get picked up in something there. So the tighter the better. So people are scalping out here, I'm sure. Getting out. I'm still in everything. And I got about, I don't know, 2 pips before these guys get out. So I'll free up some margin. I have more bullets. But you have to wait another 5 minutes, so that's just how it is. Here's the half hour just completed. And they're really close to the high of the day. So I could definitely see an attempt to burst through that. Looks like we're going to cut through it. So almost cut through it. Well, we cut through here. We took out the high from the previous day. And then we pull it back to the last known support area. Almost get it back there, not quite. And then this pullback here was kind of like back into the middle of the road of this. So just that, and trend line is still up here, even though you broke it here. You could say, well, if it if it matches this double top, the trend line, it's right in there with a 5-pip window of entry. It's pretty damn close. So 5 more minutes. Hopefully we can be stomping towards the top. Only got 7 pips to go to start coming after these guys on the top. It's 75, we're 36 above. Just get to the 50. There's no 50 on here, but there's the 45, the 50-yard lines right there. This would be the optimum place to get out, is where they're just having the time of their life. The bulls are at the party, and you're gonna come and trash their party. So I'm up $30 now. I was down like 16 or 18 there for a while, white knuckle trading it. Yeah, wait 2 more minutes here. And a lot of people just get the hell out here and reload. I suppose you could. Every pip matters. And you're in big. And then be up $112 on the week, and you just be done with it. Or you just let it ride here for another 15 minutes. So when we come back, and if there's some dramatic breakout here before that, in 2 minutes we could be blowing this out. So okay, it's forging ahead here. We just pulled back to this top on the 5 minute. So we had a nice 20-minute run there. About 10 minutes of back off. So my maximum, I was at about $30 profit right at this point. This is the exit. Typically is where they're going to have the highest high in this stairway down. So right there is the ideal price pulse trade, where you come down and trap you here, you ride it for 20 minutes, you dump the whole thing. That's it. Maybe you put a buy limit here. Maybe you put buy stops in here, because maybe there's one more gust of wind coming. But this is definitely good money here. Very short period of time. So I'm aiming at quick and dirty trading. So the sell limit is still there. I really don't want it there. I think it'll last too long. I think I wrote this to be so that doesn't make any sense. And I guess I would take this one. I would start selling if it got way up here. So here's a sell limit script that's way up in the nosebleed section. Now you could go up there today, or that's possible maybe next week. But sure, if it went up there, who wouldn't sell this this thing here? That top. Okay, they're gonna. Looks like they're gonna make an attempt here. The high of the day. Same thing on the euro. Making a run for the border. Border patrol. And just more virtual boredom. A little more excitement on the 15. So here, if you have the 15 and the 5, that's plenty. Got to take out this 15-minute bar here. Got to keep going up if you're long. And this trend line broke. Not much of a pullback to it. And since it's been trading sideways for a little bit in this cluster, the next move should be, needs to be a crash, a smack to this. So we can start to get the party started. And maybe sellers do come in there. I'll be getting out there, so I'll be a seller. And then get this thing to go up and down a lot. Especially when the news comes out. Then it's going to be... That's when the fun begins. Top of the hour is coming. Euro's itching to take out the high of this back here. And then its ultimate goal is to bust through all this the euro dollar, this big downtrend line. Get the perfect pullback entry to the break of this 1 hour. One touch, 2, 3, 4. This internal thing. You got the mega wedge bottom. And crazy. But then this is the retest of a broken trendline entry. And then it still come back to, say you have a trend line like this, break out of that thing, come back to that trend line. So he's thinking about the next inflection point. Okay, we gotta go here. We gotta get it done. We gotta get to this, gotta go up 5 pips here. At least to get this thing going. So you could put a buy stop above this and add to this position at this point, but I'm not going to, they say never add to a losing position. Why add to any position? I'd say why add to a winning position? That can be always, you got to keep putting tighter and tighter stops in. Okay, top of the hour's coming. People are getting all itchy. The bears are scared. It looks like a possible run today to blow out this, come after this top. Just go screaming up to say the next shelf is right here. Everything from here, the sellers should come in. And then you would sell this whole region here. Look to make the money coming back to here. And if we do pop through this, you know, the buyers are coming back down here, so. But you don't want to be too far away from the market. Unrealistic expectations. All right. So I'm going to get in here on buy limits. If they can smash this euro up, then I'll put in the trailing buy limits. So I can add to it. So here's a 1 hour left, 15 minute here. This is the bottom that should have become a top. It did for a little bit, but it failed. Here's another trend line break. Find support on the 15, and you saw this bottom here correlates to this bottom. Trendline break, find support. So this is the same as this at that time of day. This is your first trend line you can draw. And this is kind of too fast a pullback to be real. Now, if I can make the 10 pips here, then I just start coming in with the buy limits beneath for the volatility pullback. Because I don't want to chase it. I don't want to buy any more here. should be getting out something. Okay, so I took a little bit off the table there. So I banked about 20 bucks. Now I'm still up 34. This doesn't reflect. It's probably up about 50 for a second there. Ideally, I will be completely flat this market in the next half hour. So as this thing goes crashing through and busts through this top, we'll be back to normality. We'll free up margin here, and then the sells are way up the let's try to clean this up a little bit. This being the obvious target, just a little bit above the high of the week. Okay, so I'm at $73 a margin, and when that starts going down, I'll know that I've been gradually getting out of stuff. And the exits are going to be all the way up into that line I drew. Here's all my exits. These take profits are from the sells coming back the other way. That's my exit zone, is everything up to here, the next 10 pip window. And then, hey, it's probably going to pull back. Okay. Got those other Australians on here. I was watching this guy's video talking about entering on some Gartley pattern down here. It was cracking me up. He's like, don't you think with all these triangles coming together down here with the 618, don't you think this is where people are going to get in? Like, yeah, anybody'd get in down here. You don't need a Gartley to tell you that, but look at this thing just walking away. He spent like forever getting the fib tools out on that. My God, man. Obviously, if it ever gets through this, it's going to be like, hello. We got a big void to fill. I don't know. Couldn't you have seen this? Double top. Triple top breaks out. Wow, this is the internal void. Can't see that stuff, I guess. Stupid ass candles. That people ever get tricked into that stuff. Look at this perfect top bottom on the 4 hour British pound. Look at that. Classic. Gosh, I wonder what this price is all about. Somebody's got an issue there. They love that price. Here's the triple top failure. Man, that British pound. Here's a top become a bottom perfectly. Double top becomes a bottom. You just draw a trend line here. Can't be that hard. First trend line break was here though. So you actually want to buy this low because it's a valid trend line break. You're not making this stuff up. You know, this isn't like you can't draw this two peaks and say, oh, look at it, we broke, and hey, you know, the guys came in and they bought it. So they came in and they bought it. They bought it up until here. And then they got the hell out. They're like, uh-oh. Because if they bought here without a stop and they wrote it down here, and the next time they comes here, they got to get flat their account. Then the sellers come back in. But this is where you step in front, start buying. Even here, if you bought, this is a high probability trade. As it's crushing back in, you're buying this on stops. You don't know how far they can pull it back. Sometimes they can't pull it back to where you want to get in. So that's why you have to have the trailing buy stops here in case, hey, maybe they don't take it down to your buy limits down here. And you're not in big enough. You need to be in big enough for these rides. So you really have to be in the sweet spot amount of stuff. Okay. But see, sell limits on this British pound right now. Look at this giant trend line here. See this one that broke? That one's still holding. But look at, they took out this, they're about to, right now you're just like right up against the, go to the weekly. This thing's pissed off. I could come all the way back to here in due time. Given enough rope. Okay, so we should be getting out of something here. We just got out of some more of this Australian dollar. This margin went down a few bucks. Okay, so get out of this thing, and then I have an unrealized $126 on the week. Whereas today I'm up about 40 bucks this morning. I'm ready to dump right here, actually. If I was scalping really big, I'd just get out here. So I'm going to dump everything and buy and pull backs now. Fastest broker's going to execute that. Okay, so I just went flat. Now I'm just going to put buy limits in. And buy and pull backs. So that's it. That's the old morning scalp. I look for some drama here on the euro, possibly. They're fighting with the ball right here. So if this can take it through the top, I'll go to full auction mode there and go blammo. This one, I'm just going to put a bunch of buy limits in. Anyways, there's plenty of stuff left to come. There's news coming out, so we should get a pullback here. They say buy and pullbacks. It's no joke. So, all right. We're flat. Up 40 bucks. 35 bucks maybe. Now here's where I come in with the half-hour script. We'll buy a plunge all the way back. See, we're already pulling back. So now here, every 5 minutes, I could put a buy limit in there. Now this, if this fills, I'll be getting in on about 15, probably about 12K or something. But that's it. It's just the same garbage every day with this market. Up and down and up and down. Okay, so I'm going to take a nap.